industry stakeholders are calling for a review of the 5-month-old rice tariffication law, while economic managers tout the measure as the driving force behind the slowdown in inflation. Farmers and critics say it has done little to reduce market prices of rice while leaving local farmers empty-handed. Let's take a look back at how rice tariffication came to be. Shaila Francisco with the report.
In last year's State of the Nation address, President Duterte vowed to address issues surrounding the staple grain, starting off with reforms in the country's rice trade. At the time, rice prices were just starting to creep up.
We need to switch from the current quota system in importing rice to a tariff system where rice can be imported more freely. This will give us additional resources for our farmers, reduce the price of rice by up to 7 pesos per kilo and lower inflation significantly. I ask Congress to prioritize this crucial reform, which I have certified as urgent today. Alam mo, ako humingi talaga ng tulong.
Unfortunately, things didn't exactly get better after that July 2018 State of the Nation address. A month after that, inflation hit a fresh multi-year high, clocking in at 6.4%, boosted by the skyrocketing price of rice, allegedly caused by dwindling supply. And in September, the rise in commodity prices peaked to a 9-year high of 6.7%, pushing year-to-date inflation way outside the BSP's target band of 2 to 4%. The country's economic managers, along with a number of lawmakers and industry players, saw only one solution: to finally lift import restrictions on rice and flood the market with supply to pull prices down.
So we should allow free trade as much as possible. That is the most efficient economic arrangement.
Economic managers argued that lifting quantitative caps on rice imports would slash rice prices by as much as 7 pesos per kilo and curb headline inflation by about 0.6%. And despite strong criticism from farmer groups, saying such measure would put local farmers at a disadvantage, President Duterte thereafter signed the measure in February. The DBM again touted the move amid protests from farmer groups who complained that there's no way they can compete with a cheap imported good. Jokna said it's about time local players step up their game and increase productivity.
You have to put pressure on this sector to improve themselves, increase productivity, because right now they are not competitive. Our production cost is much higher than the world price of rice.
But even before the rice tariffication law could take effect, February inflation already cooled, finally settling within the government's band after 11 months of breaching the ceiling of the government's target range. Still, economic managers believe that rice tariffication could slow inflation further by arresting supply-side issues. Agriculture Secretary Manny Peñol continued to hear farmers' concerns, while economists believe trade reform is actually protective of farmers as it tames inflation.
Because right now the rice farmers are already complaining even without the tariffication yet. There is already speculation among the traders and they're not buying palay right now.
Kung mas efficient siya, mas mabilis yung pag-import mo ng rice. But without necessarily saying na papatayin mo yung ano. Kasi nga meron kang tariff ka. So it's a charge. So import whatever you want, how much you want, and then you will impose the tariff, and then that tariff will be used to protect the farmers.
True enough, the government attributes a continuing slower inflation environment to the rice tariffication law. That's with acceleration in prices settling to its lowest print in 21 months at 2.7% just last month. Regular milled rice likewise went down to 37 pesos a kilo from around 45 pesos per kilo last year. But Finance Secretary Sonny Dominguez says a review of the tariffication law is not necessary, calling it one of the most important legislative achievements of the 17th Congress and the Duterte administration. As for the farmers, Dominguez insists that coordinated actions are being considered in case data show evidence of abuse on the part of traders. He adds that the government will continue implementing the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund to support farmers amid drops in rice prices. Shaila Francisco, VR1 News.